Hello, beautiful people. Hey, don't do that, Gian.
What?
That grin. Welcome back, Sportsball Talk Show, joined by Gian.
What's up, y'all?
We're doing a great experiment, first of its kind. My buddy Luke has never, ever watched football, looked at any scores, anything. The only thing he probably knows about football is that the Patriots are good and the name Tom Brady. He knows pretty much nothing. He doesn't even know all the rules about it. So what we did was Gian and I dragged him into a fantasy league, and we're going to see how he does. This is a test to see how much does watching football and knowing about football and things like that actually affect your ability to play fantasy. Because obviously in fantasy, it gives you like, here's how you should draft, etc. And so Luke just drafted based on that and who he thought looked cool, who he thought had a cool name, cool teams, whatever he picked.
Quite literally.
The only thing I told him was how to play fantasy football. I told him, like, okay, you got one quarterback, two running back, two receiver. You want to have backups of each in case they get hurt or whatever. Some people like to draft running backs first, wide receivers first, quarterbacks first. I'll leave that up to you. Do whatever you want. And that's pretty much it. And so we joined a random 10-man. We both just all at the same time click join random league on the ESPN Fantasy app. So it's as completely unbiased as possible. Just 7 strangers plus us 3. So we're going to be doing updates throughout the season, obviously, about how he's doing, about how we're doing, etc. Just to see how he does. It'll be a 8-month-long experiment.
Right.
So it'll be pretty cool. Just stay tuned. Subscribe, obviously, to see the updates. We'll have Luke join us on an episode here at some point once we give one of the first updates, probably once the season starts up. But for today, I'm just going to be going through our roster, and I'm showing who we each drafted, essentially. So
just letting you all know that I'm winning the league.
We'll do mine first.
Guaranteed to win.
Yeah, I'm going to remove you and put my my team. So, my team, it's just a basic PPR league, so 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 receiver, etc. Kirk Cousins is my primary QB. I got Saquon and Travis, 2 solid running backs, both reception upside, so pretty good. I got CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be a hot commodity this season as it goes deeper and people realize that he's going to be the number 1 guy. Jen and I both agree on that Jerry Jeudy is good value.
Hands down.
Tyler Higbee. I justify that by saying he's been a top 10 tight end for the past 4 years in fantasy, yet he never gets drafted, so I got him very late. I got Drake London in my flex at the moment. I've got the Commanders defense and Harrison Butker as my kicker. Butker just because it's a high-scoring offense. And the way I do defenses, I know the Commanders is not going to be good out the season. My strategy with defenses is that I drop and add each week whichever defense I think has the easiest matchup, and it's worked for me. The 3 years I've been playing fantasy. I obviously don't have the best defense every single week because some people draft a good one and just keep it all year, but they have their off games. So I just draft the best available one each week, and then I get a roughly 8 to 10 points, just a safe median for defenses because I don't like leaving games up to risky defenses. I don't like losing that way.
Yeah, viable strategy.
Yeah, and then my bench, really good running back depth. I've got Ramondre Stevenson as my backup RB1, and then I got David Montgomery in Detroit. Going to be a good red zone guy. We'll see if Jahmyr Gibbs works out as kind of just a backup, late round pick, whatever. We've also got Jamal Williams for the red zone upside, and Jared McKinnon because of the reception upside. Jared Goff is my backup QB. He's going to be a decent little gunslinger this season. My strategy with QBs is unless you can get Jalen Hurts in the 3rd or 4th or Josh Allen, draft him late because the gap between the QB1 and the QB7 is so small, it's not really worth wasting an early pick. Backup tight end, I've got Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet just signed an extension, so I think he's going to be pretty good in fantasy this year. They're going to have to utilize him. And then DJ Moore, so as long as one of the Chicago guys does well, I'll benefit from that. This is probably my worst draft of any fantasy league that I'm in this season. I'll go back to my starter. I like my starters. I don't like my depth. I just got a bad pick. I think I drafted towards the end of the first. Usually around that spot I like to get either Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, but they were both taken before that. So unfortunately I got Saquon and CeeDee at the turn and then ETN on the 3rd. So we'll see what happens with that team. I think I have a fair chance. It's just going to be, I think I'm going to finish right about average in the league, probably 4th or 5th. Gian, QB1 is Anthony Richardson. I'm going to justify it. Go ahead.
I was waiting on quarterback for a good while, and every time I went to reach for a quarterback, just got snagged. I was really aiming for Herbert here because I thought Herbert was going to be the absolute best quarterback this season, and couldn't get him, so I'm waiting for Kirk Cousins. Ethan snipes me. Then people are stacking their QBs. People snag Tua. They snag Deshaun. They snag Russell Wilson. And I'm like, all right. if these guys are just off the board, I'm gonna wait for maybe a Jared Goff, or I was waiting for Tua. That would have been my other pick down the road. Even Daniel Jones if need be.
Good.
But
Rushing upside.
in the meantime, since those guys were snagged, I went for the best possible option of just picking up whatever receiver would be good to stash on the bench, whatever running back would be good to stash on the bench. I didn't have very much running back depth at the time, so I justified not picking the QB then till now. And then the draft kept going lower and lower, less QBs were on the board. But I went for AR-15. 1, he's a Gator, I'm a Gator, might as well. 2, he has a lot of rushing upside. Shane Steichen, as we know, made Jalen Hurts who he is. If the Colts O-line is healthy, if J-Tay's playing, and from what I hear, they're might be in conversations again, that would be nice to have. AR's got one hell of an arm. He's got Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman to throw to. I know last season Colts receiving-wise weren't that good, but maybe with AR under the helm, it could be a little better. Healthy O-line, healthy defense, and that was just the pick I had to make at the time.
Hey, John, here's the thing. I don't think you really need to justify AR-15.
Okay, good.
I think he's a solid pick.
Yeah, no, I mean...
You're trying to convince these people he's good, but here's the thing. Really good rushing upside. It's one of those risky picks.
Very risky.
Your backup QB?
Brock Purdy.
Fine. Solid guy because he's going to get the starting job, and then he'll just throw the ball. He'll be a very nice, low-tier quarterback. But with Anthony Richardson, you have the potential upside, and he's looked really good at training camp, so that's fine, especially when you got guys like CMC and Jahmyr Gibbs, 2 arguably top 10 fantasy guys this year. You got Amon-Ra and Amari Cooper, who are both going to be top 15. Amon-Ra probably top 5 in fantasy. TJ Hawkinson, great tight end. Pacheco in the flex. I think Pacheco's going to be good this season. Some people don't. You got the Jets defense. Hey, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Then you got Justin Tucker as your kicker. Fair, he's accurate. Then on your bench, you got Kyle Pitts, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Addison, Brian Robinson Jr., Sky Moore, Jameson Williams, and Brock Purdy. Good wide receiver depth. Obviously, I think Ayuk's going to be good this season. Addison,
hands down.
I think he's going to be one of those guys that has games of 25 points and then games with 5. But either way, that's fair. Sky Moore, we don't really know what the Chiefs' offense is going to look like with how they stack up different wide receivers. So maybe he's going to be the number 1 guy there, maybe number 2. Either way, he'll probably get a lot of targets. So decent team. You'll probably finish last in the league. But
yeah, I'm projected one of the last players, unfortunately. But I mean, I reached for players that I wanted. I wanted TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, the projections never mean shit.
But
really.
yeah, last season, I was projected last in 2 leagues, and I came out number 1. So I mean, hey.
Yeah, and now we're gonna go on to Luke's, who I think drafted the best. Luke drafted incredibly
for
well.
Someone who doesn't know anything about football, he did pretty good.
He's projected second in the league, which once again projections don't mean a whole lot, but he still got projected second. So here's his team. Justin Fields is his quarterback. Fantastic
Very
running back
solid.
because of the rushing upside. Josh Jacobs, number 1 RB last season. As long as he plays this year, it'll be great again. Najee Harris is going to just get fed the rock because he's on the Steelers, so that's a great pick. DK Metcalf and Chris Godwin he definitely struggled a little bit on the receivers, but those are 2 decent ones. They're going to get targets because of the team they're on and because of their status on the team. They're going to get targets every game for a safe, reliable floor. Got Terry McLaurin as a wide receiver in the flex, who's also pretty well. He's going to be the number 1 target in Washington. Travis Kelce, obviously the number 1 tight end in the league by a mile. That's who his first overall pick was, obviously. Cowboys defense, solid. Cowboys defense is always
can't go
good.
wrong with that.
Evan McPherson.
Solid kicker.
Yeah, they score a lot, so that'll be good for him in terms of the Bengals. Then his bench, you got Dak Prescott and Daniel Jones as backup QBs. Obviously, he thinks that he needs 3 QBs in a 1 QB league.
Yeah, and I needed Daniel Jones, and that's what I was going for. And he was the pick before me, and he just...
This is one of those things where it's that's what happens when you don't know much about football. You just draft too many of that. But either way, it's not horrible because he has really good depth otherwise. J.K. Dobbins is out right now, but when he plays, he's going to be the number 1 running back in Baltimore, so he'll get the rock a decent bit.
Right.
Rashad Penny as well, very safe guy for Philly because they have such a good O-line and a good run-first offense.
I like DJ Chark.
I love
like DJ Chark.
I think he's going to take over that number 1 role in Carolina, and he's not going to be a top 15 or probably even top 20 wide receiver, but he's going to be a very safe floor, I think, as the season rolls on and Bryce Young builds some rapport with him.
Right.
Okonkwo is a fine tight end. I mean, it doesn't really matter when you have Kelce. It's just for the 1 week that Kelce can't play because of the bye.
Right.
And then Cortland Sutton, I mean, we'll see. I don't think he's going to have that hot of a season, but once again, what does Luke know? Nothing about fantasy football. So that's his team. That's my team. That's Gion's team. Currently, Gian and I are projected to finish last and second to last. Luke is projected to finish second, but I've been projected to finish last and won before, so that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But let us know in the comments who you think's going to win. What do you think of Luke and what his team? I'm very impressed with this team.
Oh no, yeah, very good draft.
So.
Especially with Justin Fields, I can't believe he actually managed to snag that.
I mean, he got a couple really high, Josh Jacobs, Justin Fields, Travis Kelce. He's got a really good team. I think he's got a good shot as long as he doesn't get plagued with injuries. Obviously, that's the biggest unknown with fantasy, and we'll try to take that into account when we're doing our overall ratings at the very end. If Fields and Josh Jacobs both don't play or get hurt or something, it's okay, well then we'll just assume that they would have played and calculate what his record would have been based on that to see if it still matters, because the point of this whole experiment is to see if it matters knowing about fantasy football. That way, let's say you have friends that don't want to play fantasy football because they don't watch football, but you want them to join your league that's you and all your friends.
Just because.
May not matter that they don't know shit about football. So that's what this experiment's going to tell us. And we just picked him because he's our one friend that doesn't know anything about football. And once you know anything about football, you cannot go back. I can't pretend I don't know anything about football and draft as if I didn't. Luke legitimately knows nothing about football. Like I said, doesn't even know all the rules. He just knows you throw a football and you score points and that's basically it. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think he finishes top 3 personally. I really don't think watching football matters too much, but we'll see. We'll probably do either bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly updates on this. Like I said, Luke's going to join us for a couple of these. But if you guys have any suggestions for how you want to record some of this data or things that we can do as well, if you want to do anything before the season for more experiments with them, then let us know in the comments. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to see more of this. Like I said, regular updates. So
we'll keep you guys posted.
Close this off.
All right, you guys, stay frosty.